energy level, 20% increase. I always wanted a thing called tuna sashimi. 3, 2, 1.
Well then guys, Junior back again. This time I'm going to review a bit of a classic. This is Space Harrier. This is the Sega Saturn version, the Japanese Sega Saturn version. Space Harrier came out in the arcades in 1985 and it's up there with one of my all-time favourite arcade games. The arcade one, there was like a stand-up, they did a sit-down, a small sit-down, they did a really big like motorised sit-down version. Sega Yu Suzuki made this game, as long as he did the other games in the series, the super scaler games as they're called, things like Outrun and Thunderblade and Galaxy Force 2 and all that sort of things. But this is pretty much a classic. The Sega Saturn version is pretty much pretty much most people think that it is pretty much the most arcade version out there. It probably is the best version out there. I know you can get it on the Dreamcast and the Yu Suzuki GameWorks, but I think the Saturn version is actually better. I'm not sure whether this actually runs at 60 frames a second, and to be honest I'm not really sure if the arcade one runs at 60 frames a second. I know Outrun was actually 30 frames a second, and the Sega Saturn version of Outrun, which I haven't got unfortunately, you can introduce a smooth mode which actually will run the game at 60 frames a second, and it's supposed to look pretty stunning. So pity when I picked these up, I picked up this and Afterburner 2 and didn't actually get Outrun at the time. I didn't have enough cash at the time, so I didn't actually pick it up, but I'll have to pick it up at some point because that pretty much is the best version of Outrun as well. So anyway, with Space Harrier, I don't know if you've ever played this game in the arcade. It's basically set in the fantasy zone, which is basically a fantasy zone. It's a very colourful universe with lots of different characters, and if you've ever played the fantasy zone games with Opa, the shoot 'em ups, they're pretty much based in the same universe as Space Harrier. So we'll start this up. This is pretty much almost like a bare bones arcade port essentially. There's no bells and whistles to it, there's no extras or anything like that. It is pretty much just the arcade one. You got a music select, which is quite nice. You can change your bonuses and give some extra players and change your level. You can put it on easier, you can put it on hardest. So we will put it on normal. This game is not particularly easy anyway. Even the arcade version can be pretty tricky. So we'll start it up. As I go to the bonus again. So basically this is a 3D almost on rails arcade shooter. Pretty much you just fly into the screen, shoot as much stuff as you can, fight bosses, try and work your way through all the levels. I can't remember exactly how many levels are on this game, but brain seems to think in 17 levels. And I'm not sure if they added a few extra. I'm not entirely sure. I could be completely and utterly wrong on that mind, to be honest. But yeah, so basically you just fly into the screen, shoot as much stuff as possible, listen to the really cool arcade music, and fight bosses. And that's pretty much Space Harrier. I say this game came out in 1985. It's a really old game. In 1985, you can imagine how impressive this actually was. It took up to basically the Saturn came out for someone to have pretty much an arcade perfect version of this game. All other versions of this game they're nowhere near as good as the arcade. So it shows how well ahead of its time this actually was. Like, pretty much I'd say that for all the Sega Super Scaler games, Outrun and everything like that. They all looked amazing. Sega did some amazing arcade games back in the day. They were always the biggest, the best looking, the best sounding arcade machines out there. Shame they don't make so much these days, but yeah. But there you go. So you basically just different enemies. You get a few continues or whatever, but we won't be using any of them. I say I love this game. I really do love Space Harrier. I pretty much most of the conversions that I played, the Master System version's really good, the PC Engine version's really good. You know, they're not arcade perfect or nothing, but they're really good for what they are. The Master System one, I'm sure it adds a few extra things. I know Afterburner does. It adds like a ship to blow up. So as Sega, well, pretty much as Sega did with a lot of their home ports, didn't they? They added extra things to them, which is pretty cool. They did that, or completely and utterly changed the games. This could be the second boss. They also there's the Space Harrier 2 on the Mega Drive. Pretty much it's really choppy. Space Harrier 2 on the Mega Drive. It was one of the first releases. Could have been the first release actually on the Mega Drive, to be honest. But it's not particularly great. It's very sort of choppy, sort of scrolling on it. It's not the best. I can't seem to get this guy. Ooh, that was lucky. And they also did Planet Harriers, which came out in 2000, I think it was. Ah, and I died. In the arcade. Can I continue? No continues. Why can't I scroll past? Weird. Should be. Yeah, can you put 2 in? Yeah, so Planet Harriers, that's like a 3D sort of. It's not a remake, it's a whole new game. We'll let one more go with this. It's a whole new game. A lot of people say Planet Harriers is not very good, but I quite like it. And the arcade one is pretty cool. I've played on the arcade a few times, and I quite like Planet Harriers. Good thing about it is you can actually get an emulator for the PC now that actually will play Planet Harriers. So if you do fancy a go of it, track down that emulator. I think it's a Sega System Model 2 emulator. So we'll see how far we can get on this go, and then I'll do a little bit of closing comments at the end and give it a bit of a review score. Ah, hit a tree.
Get ready.
One thing that this port could actually do with is an auto fire. I know the arcade didn't have one, but it's hard to keep up with your firing sometimes in this game. You've got to fire pretty damn fast.
You're doing great.
An auto fire option would have been quite nice. Like I said, Space Harrier is quite a tricky game. Especially when you're dodging all those things coming towards you as well as dodging firing and enemies. The Super Scaler games are pretty wicked as well. I love Afterburner, especially the sit-down arcade one. That's awesome, that is. Even to this day, that's still pretty damn nice. And they obviously Outrun they did as well. Thunderblade is not quite so good. Galaxy Force 2 is definitely the best looking of all the Scaler games. That arcade game even looks really good to this day. Power Drift is another one, but that hasn't aged. Honest. But the big three, which is pretty much this, Outrun and Afterburner, they are classics. Like, tell you a nice version of Galaxy Force 2. If you've got a 3DS, they redid some of these games actually on the 3DS, and AM2, the Sega's development people actually did the conversions, and they are amazing on the 3DS. They're really, really amazing. They're pretty much the arcade versions with a really nice 3D option on them. Especially Galaxy Force, that looks stunning. Just unfortunately, I hate the 3DS but the analog stick. Rubbish. Ooh. Two-headed dragons. Nearly. Say Mad Factory as well. Hang On was another one of the Super Scaler games, and when Yu Suzuki, they put it in an arcade in Japan, where they were just showing it off, and they were doing a bit of a test on it, and as they were playing it, like a motorcycle guy come in and started playing the game, like, and he turned around to Yu Suzuki and he said, after he played it, he said, why do you call it Hang On? And Yu Suzuki said, because you hang on the bike as you go around corners. And he's got, that's called Hang Off, not Hang On, which I never knew that. And Yu Suzuki said pretty much he thought, he'd already sold it to Sega, and he thought I never told him. So he actually named it wrong. But Hang On sticks in your head anyway. Right guys, so that's Space Harrier. This is a Sega Saturn version. I'm playing the Japanese one, but you can get it in the UK and America on the Sega Ages discs. If you love Space Harrier, it's pretty much a must-buy. It's pretty much the best version of Space Harrier, I'd say. Apart from maybe the 3DS version, which is pretty much the same as this, but with a 3D option. But you can't put it on the big screen, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, Space Harrier, and I'm going to give this 9 out of 10 because I've always loved this arcade game and I've been playing it for years. It is a really cool game. The same as Afterburner, Outrun, Galaxy Force, they're all bloody good. But yeah, 9 out of 10 guys, so I hope you enjoyed the review. See you next time. Bye now.